Alright guys, HyDra again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. CDL Drama is officially back on the menu with Los Angeles Thieves absolutely crushing the Cloud9 New York last night, but Cloud9 not at all happy about the state of the CDL servers. Over the last few years, they've got better and better when there are matchups of teams based in LA and teams based out of Texas. According to Attach, that is not the case at all as of last night, but our Thieves still by far the best team in the game. We're going to find out tonight when they play Atlanta FaZe more than likely. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I am still alive, by the way. Thanks for the well wishes last night. No video last night for a couple of reasons. And my apologies for that one for sure, but I'm currently out here in Portugal playing a bit of golf. For some reason, the internet here just isn't particularly good in this hotel. And the idea of staying up until like 3, 4 in the morning to then make a video, and then it takes some time to upload, and then like get up early the next day to have a tiring day just didn't really seem particularly fitting given the matches of yesterday. I will, however, do it tonight because tonight is definitely going to be a big day, but I think you are going to see a bit more of that this season because over the last few years, staying up until like the early hours UK time, Portugal time, like wherever you are in Europe pretty much, to watch like, Boston play Los Angeles Grillers, just hypothetically, and then talk about it in a video. It done it the same as it used to. So I will still be making this video, the late night recap videos for the interesting CDL days, but if there are less interesting ones that maybe I won't, we'll see how time goes. But yeah, intrigued to your thoughts as always in the comment section on everything. Now let's dive straight in, because a bit of drama, CDL related with Gunless. Apparently, the Challengers event in Miami back in literally, well, it was Major 2 last year. The players still haven't got paid for it. So as Gunner says, does anyone know who runs this? I still haven't got paid for Miami. Just want to make sure I send the right people my lawsuit. So yeah, if the CDL isn't aware of that, which of course they should be because it's literally their whole thing, then it's not really a good look for anyone. But let's talk about some of these matches, of course. This game one yesterday, Falcons versus Miami. Like, we've heard that Miami are pretty good in scrims. Falcons, though, seem to be better than expected. I mean, look, at the end of the day, they got 3-0'd, but they didn't get 3-0'd in completely dominant fashion. Game 1 of the Skyline was a very close fought affair, 250-236 in the end. Then after that, it wasn't so pretty. And, I thought this is kind of funny from the Miami Heretics. What, of course, we will say about the series, though, is which players on Falcons are looking promising and which players might need to, well, either improve substantially or call it a day from, this roster, right? Because, yeah, Miami took the 3-0 dub. Khalid had a good series, as did Xnid. The other two, I mean, Roxas is maybe a bit promising. I think I've seen, like, those are the three guys, Khalid, Xnid, and Roxas, that are pretty good. Khalid, I think, actually, at times, it is pretty excellent in terms of the talent that he has. I've seen it from Xnid as well at times. King of Body, yeah, it's pretty rough watching his POV, to be honest. And I'm sure that Clayster has had similar feelings and, opinions as well, right? Like, he watches this team day in, day out. He knows how to recognize and grow some talents. And King of Body is an interesting character because he was the first, like, notable Saudi player when he used to play players like Illy and stuff in 1v1 chals, and he'd play on his host, they'd play on their host, and 1v1 each other and see what happens. Now, he's got some gunny sometimes, but his decision-making is not there. He doesn't often win too many ones, and he drops a 0.7 KD this series against Miami. So, look, if I am Clayster and I have the option to say, all right, Hook, I'm bringing you in, of course, Hook was born in Saudi Arabia. The problem is I don't know how well these guys speak English, and I don't think that Hook, I mean, he was born in Saudi, Hook, but he grew up in the Netherlands. And, of course, now he's based over in the US. I don't expect Hook speaks Arabic. So maybe he does, but I doubt it highly. So that's the issue, right? If you're Falcons, because their team has some promise, but I just don't see King of Body lasting on this roster for the long term the way it currently looks. I know we're only a couple of games in, but there is some potential here, and every single series you lose now is, less likely you're going to make the World Championship. I think for that, it's very, very unlikely, if not basically impossible this season. But it's something to think about anyway with the way that Falcons team is going to be going. This was a pretty interesting series. Boston played Minnesota Rocker. I will say, fair play to both of these teams. I know that I roasted them in the intro talking about Boston versus Grillers, but in fairness, these teams are entertaining to watch right now. Boston seem to be better than they appeared in the power rankings. Like, they're actually competent. I like the Kami Awakening thing. Purge and Snoopy have had their moments as well, but this was the round 11, of course, when Minnesota Rocker, also a very entertaining team, made it to, you know, Game 5, round 11, and fair play to Paulex, absolute takeover moment from him in the Game 5. This team was causing some controversy because Thieves was potentially going to be on the roster. They were even looking at Clayster, I think. But they went a different direction. They signed Paulex instead. And yeah, you can't deny it's worked out rather well, right? I mean, yeah, SGL did have a sink of this series, but still on the other side, it was a great performance across the board from Boston, but not enough when it mattered, right? I mean, yeah, they slammed them on the vault control. The KDs were rough there, but when it mattered, Rocker clutched up 250, 245, and then 6-5 the final search and destroy. Just interesting, of course, because Boston won a couple of searches against OpTic the other day. This time, Rocker have won a couple of searches against them. So, yeah, Rocker might not be the best team, but they're entertaining, and they have somehow found a way to start this year 2-0 against Gentlemate and Boston, which is very impressive given the way those series played. So it seems like another, you know, Rocker might be back to being a Game 5 team where they, you know, go to Game 5 every time. Sometimes they win, sometimes they lose. Surge played Toronto yesterday. This was, again, a very interesting series. In the same way that Ultra got slammed Game 1 hardpoint the other day, you guys can tell the internet isn't great, by the way. Surge did the same thing here and slammed them again. But Ultra then bounced back. They won the search and destroy. And they went on to win the series a 3-2 fashion. It was close, but again, they went to a Protocol hardpoint. Game 4, slammed Surge, and then they clutched them on the Protocol Game 5 in a 6-5 fashion. Again, fascinating series in the context of the season. We know that when the season starts, things are going to be a little bit more, well, unpredictable, I would say, in terms of who's going to be good, who's not going to be so good. Series going down to the wire and stuff like this. But Surge looked promising. It is interesting, however, that Hicksy had an excellent series here. Like, how often is Hicksy going to go 99 and 88 with a 1.13? Maybe it's going to be more common this season, but we weren't expecting it on paper, right? Hicksy's meant to be the 0.9 guy, 0.85, 0.9 guy, with the rest of the team taken over. That didn't happen here, right? Abuzah had a 0.8. No one else was positive, and they still could have won the series. But in the end, Ultra just a bit too clutch. Another great series here from Beans and CleanX. That should really be no surprise. And JoeDeceives is pushing some serious pace as well on the map. I mean, like, Envoy, I think, is a phenomenal player, and honestly has probably moved into the underrated category over the last, you know, just because he was pretty bad at times last season. I think people are underrating Envoy's importance, but I do think JoeDeceives is as good a replacement as Toronto could potentially find. So I still think Toronto are going to be scary. Are they going to be better than their roster last year with Scrap and Envoy? That feels like a stretch, but it was nonetheless a good result from them. So early days, Toronto looking good, but this was, well, a moment for the Los Angeles Thieves. They completely slapped around New York last night. I mean, both hardpoints were completely crushing, and if there's any way to debut a new roster in the CDL, it's to come out and absolutely destroy a team, which is, you know, pretty decent on paper. Cloud9 have been considered to be up there, near enough the top 4, not quite in that kind of ballpark yet, but, I mean, wow, this was dominant, and it's so scary, this Los Angeles Thieves team. I mean, I do wonder, as I said the other day, whether OpTic maybe, but certainly maybe FaZe will look back on this offseason and say, well, there was a chance there to sign HyDra, to sign Scrappy, to make something happen. And I understand why the teams didn't do it. But at the end of the day, they did allow this roster to be formed. And, well, here we are. So let's see how they get on. It's early days in the season, but... And the thing is that Scrappy and HyDra, like, they're just so good. And now they're on the same team. I don't know if they're going to be as good as they were last year in terms of KD and stuff, just because they're going to take kills of each other. But game 1, they're 100-point club Cloud9. Now, of course, there is more to this series than meets the eye, just because, obviously, the Cloud9 boys weren't very happy about the servers that they were playing on, and we'll discuss that in a second. But, I mean, look at this game 1. The crazy thing about this line, right, is that there was, what, one hardpoint where Cloud9 outscored Thieves? Like, they gained 18 points here, and Cloud9 gained 22 points here, but apart from that, every single other line is steep of the Thieves. So, like, they weren't just winning a big hardpoint and getting 60, and then, you know, stopping Cloud9 getting some time and 100-point clubbing them that way. they were just breaking and holding and doing everything that Cloud9 had no chance against. So, yeah, this was brutal. To be fair to Cloud9, they came back, they won the second map in the series, Kremp, Mack, and Simp, of course, this team. But this is what I expect of a team like Los Angeles Thieves. When they do lose a search and destroy and it goes 1-1, they just crushed the opposition from then on outwards, and they did it again. Game 3 control, they won very comfortably, and then this is the Game 4 hardpoint, where, I mean, look, this is HyDra's POV here on Black Ops 6, and it's pretty fun to watch. Slides into the hill, gets the first kill, spins around through the door, and, I mean, yeah, he's just hitting every single shot. It's just absurd. HyDra finishes this map on the red card, 41 in 23. The first 40 bomb of the season goes to HyDra, and Scrappy was like, yeah, I guess I didn't really have much to do on the map, and they crushed them again. So, first match for Los Angeles Thieves, first match for HyDra, 40 bombs, 250 to like 222 across both of the hardpoint maps. Like, just absolutely crushing results. And this was the final scoreboard. Again, it was a 3-1, but it's like, look at the numbers. HyDra had a 1.4, Scrap had a 1.25, Envoy had a 1.2, and even Ghosty was still in the positive at 66 and 66. I mean, that is like the absolute ideal scoreboard in many ways. I mean, HyDra and Scrap going off with like the same damage numbers, higher than anyone in the lobby. Envoy is more than holding his own, and Ghosty's just getting the hill time, right? I mean, it works. Attaches at a 0.7, Kremp's at a 0.84, Mack nearly went positive, fair play to him, and then Simp had a rough one as well. So, look, incredible from the Thieves. There's more to it than meets the eye, potentially, but I did want to just mention the Thieves real quick and some of the reaction there as Octane says, wow, HyDra's on my team. It's not bad, is it, to have that feeling of having a guy that talented that they were able to accrue to their roster. And of course, Scrappy after the series was saying, yeah, we just slammed these guys. We've been doing it since the game started. No surprises there. So, man, Scrappy, if you thought he was confident and cocky last year, just wait, I think, for this season, right? Because now he's got a team that can really back up the confidence that they have and should have. Nature, of course, is feeling kind of happy about this. He says, like, we've not won the World Championship yet, but went through hell and back to make this team. But notably, of course, in the process of making this team, they decided to allow them the privilege of living in Texas. At least if you're a COD player, it's a privilege to live in Texas because you get better internet. And not necessarily allowing them to, but actually were kind of forced to, because that's what Gentle Mates offered Scrappy and HyDra to go there instead. But Thieves said, all right, we'll get you a facility in Texas, you can play out of there, which is what they've got on to do. However, so it's kind of weird because Los Angeles Thieves are based out of Texas, whereas Cloud9 New York are based out of LA. So that's how it goes, and it's obviously unfortunate, we generally think, to be based out of LA to play competitive COD. We've seen that, become relatively clear over the last few years, and Attach, calls us straight up and says, my issue is with the CDL is the servers. There are 6 teams in Texas, we don't have a fair server to play on at the moment. Hopefully the CDL can figure out a solution. Now in the past, we have seen the Denver server generally be used in Colorado, but as Attach says, when we tested all the servers, we were having issues with the Denver server picking 20 higher than what most LA teams did last season, and the CDL said we would most likely not play on that server in matches, and they tried to force us into it, knowing these issues. So, yeah, basically the CDL is getting called out again. We know that these online league matches aren't perfect. They never are, they never will be. But to be fair, over the last few years, they've done a better job of keeping them fair. This season, though, the server that was being used to make matches as fair as they could be between LA and Texas is apparently no longer a thing. So if LA-based teams are playing Texas-based teams, basically just good luck this season. And Attach is saying, yeah, look, Thieves are the best team, they'd probably have beaten us anyway. But it's not fair we had to play on the ping disadvantage it seems that they did. So no really further details on that as of yet, but very much into your thoughts in the comment section below. Scrap, of course, as Joe mentioned, they play FaZe today. That's the grudge match, that's the big one. And yeah, this is a good day. Gorillas play Ravens, Miami play Vancouver, then OpTic New York Subliners, or well, previously New York Subliners Cloud9, then FaZe Thieves to close out the day. So I'll be back tonight to discuss that one if the internet complies. Very much into your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.